Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Censon. I am a professor at Tacoma Community College. I teach in both the respiratory therapy program as well as the community health professional program. I absolutely love what I do. I enjoy inspiring and teaching others and sharing my passions so that you too can have a fuel to get you to where you want to be. So today's talk is going to be Mindset Matters, the road to achieving your greatest potential. Much of what we do, much of what we experience as far as success goes, is oftentimes associated with our mindsets. So if we have the right mindset, we set ourselves up for the absolute most success possible. So that being said, we'll jump right into our talk and we'll begin talking about our mindset. So as we go through the presentation today, I would like for you to start thinking about activities outside of school that you may have mastered or that you may recall that you may not have been absolutely the best at. And perhaps this activity is something that is easy for you to do now, but at some point in time, it was extremely difficult. And this will all make sense as we move through our talk today. So what are we going to learn about? We're going to compare and contrast the growth mindset with the fixed mindset. We're going to learn how to set goals that keep you on track to achieving your most success. And we're going to come up with some ways to remind yourself that you are on track to achieving your best. And last but certainly not least, we're going to identify and learn how to relate to the 5 F's of life. And I want to start by making sure that I give credit to Dr. Carol Dweck. She's an incredible psychologist and researcher, and much of what I've shared today is based off of Dr. Dweck's knowledge and all of her work around the growth mindset. And I've included here a snippet of the book that I absolutely love. I recommend to everyone that this book here will change your life just through the work and the wonderful research of Dr. Dweck. So, the question that I have for you is, what do you think? Are people born smart? Or is it Maybelline? Or is it something that's made up? You tell me. So, some examples that will help us paint the picture of whether individuals were born smart or perhaps it's something that was created. So, Beethoven, the very famous composer, his teacher called him once a hopeless composer. If someone were to say that about your sibling, a friend, would you then suggest that they try perhaps a different activity? Imagine if Beethoven listened to his teacher's recommendation and suggestions that he was perhaps a hopeless composer, that he would never amount to anything. We would not be able to benefit from all of the great music that was developed by Beethoven. Famous business leader Warren Buffett, also, the second richest man in the world, he failed to get into Harvard's business school. What if he took that as a meaning that, maybe business is not the right field for him? Perhaps he should go into, healthcare. Do you think that if he would have followed that quote unquote failure of not getting into Harvard would have led to the success that he's living now? Absolutely not. And political leader, former United Kingdom Prime Minister Winston Churchill, he repeated a grade in elementary school, and that he was also placed in the lowest division of the lowest class. Do you think that his parents were worried about his overall potential of what he may amount to? I don't think so. He persevered. He kept going. Some other role models that I think that are worth mentioning. Einstein's teachers once told him that he was, quote unquote, academically subnormal. What does that really mean? I don't know. Michael Jordan's coach said that he wasn't made of much talent and there was more talented people than him. Is that a good reflection of his abilities? Absolutely not. Walt Disney was once told that he lacked the creative imagination. Well, I think that is proven that that is absolutely false. Look at the absolutely amazing and all of the imagination that has developed with Walt Disney. And J.K. Rowling was told that her story would never sell. Was that true? I believe her story was quite successful. So what does this tell us? This tells us that people are made. Smart people, successful people are not necessarily born. They must put in the work in order to be successful. And this is the fundamentals of the growth mindset. So as I described with some of the role models in the previous slides, despite what others had to say about them and about their abilities, they pushed forward and they were successful. They did incredible things and they did not allow others to minimize or diminish their success or their abilities to be successful. So I like to think of mindset as a tale of two mindsets. So what exactly is a mindset? So a mindset is a belief that a person holds about their intellect or their ability. So there's two different types. One being the fixed mindset. So this is when one person suggests that their abilities are carved in stone. Nothing will ever change. For an example, some people think that they're smart or they're not. Some people think they're clever or they're sporty, or perhaps they're just the opposite and they are not. The other mindset, the one that we would like to adopt, is that the growth mindset is that an individual's intelligence and ability is all very much malleable, meaning that things are dynamic, things can change, and people will grow. People will develop into their greatest potential, given that they put in their hard work. And I love this cartoon. It really just highlights the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. So for example, the guy on the left, it says, "This is the way my intelligence is. It's me. It's carved in stone. That's never going to change." Meanwhile, the individual on the right says, "No, my intelligence will grow and I will develop." And she's comparing herself to a flower. I think that is amazing, and that's how we should view ourselves, is because we should have the ability and we always should afford ourselves the opportunity to grow and develop, much like a flower or a plant. So mindset has a direct relationship with your belief of your own abilities, and it creates a mental world for you to exist in, meaning that what you believe in is what you become. So if you always downplay and talk and minimize your abilities, you're going to only live up to those minimized or diminished abilities. So it's important that we begin creating a mental world that is endless, that is boundless, because we don't want to ever limit ourselves and limit our opportunities to just the small world that we currently reside in. So with the fixed mindset, they focus more on the ability that they cannot do something and that they cannot change or develop their own skill set. Most often, these individuals are unwilling to try new things because, frankly, they're fearful of failing and not doing well. Meanwhile, with the growth mindset, the focus is on the ability of that they can, and they can change, and they will continue to grow and develop. So adopting a mindset, such as the growth mindset, allows you to overcome any sort of obstacles, setbacks, etc., all because you believe in yourself and you believe in your abilities to learn and perform new things. So students, learners, individuals, how does mindset affect you? Well, mindset has a huge impact on our goals, how we respond to obstacles and setbacks. It's a direct relationship with our effort and your belief on how much effort you need to put into doing something, as well as the strategies to obtain the most success. All of these vary greatly upon the mindset that you have, whether it's fixed or whether it's growth. And we're going to go over each of these areas and compare them with each of the mindsets. So first one is goals. So how do the mindsets affect the things that we are working for or working towards? Well, with the fixed mindset, it's focused more on performance goals. So the goals oftentimes reflect an individual's potential, and they think that it can be measured. So is it on a scale from 1 to 10, or where on that scale do you fall? Oftentimes, low scores mean that they're not smart or they're not able to perform a task well. Most times, individuals seek validation or reassurance from others to ensure that what they're performing is up to said standards. And all of these ultimately lead to an elevated amount of anxiety because of all of the thoughts of what do I need to do to be successful? What's going to happen to me or my job or my school if I fail at said tasks? So contrastly to the growth mindset, we think of this as more of a learning goals. So the goals of the growth mindset are mastery and competence of a skill or a task, rather than just seeing where on that scale do I fall. They look at their grades and their scores as a snapshot of the reflection of their work of where they are so far, not the bigger picture of where is my potential. This one exam is not going to determine my overall and my greatest potential. And they oftentimes create goals which demonstrate that they are learning, they're growing, and that their performance is improving. And this also leads to a great amount of enjoyment of what they're doing. So our response. So how do the mindsets affect how we react or respond to adversity, events, hard times, and obstacles? So with the fixed mindset, whenever we're faced with a challenge or a said failure, there's less focus made on the learning that occurred during this process. So then there's a loss of self-esteem because they start beating up on themselves and thinking of all the things that went wrong rather than all the things that went right as well. Depreciating their own intelligence, they just continue beating themselves up. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to be good enough. And they focus on pessimism. So they're always looking at the glass half full, meaning that they fail to represent their past successes and they tend to allow their said past failures over-represent themselves on any given situation. As you can tell, like I mentioned before, all of this leads to an increased amount of anxiety. So with the growth mindset, and we're faced with a challenge or an obstacle or even a failure, there's more attention focused on how much have we learned? What did I learn by going through this process? And less about how they feel in that very moment and looking at the bigger picture. More attention is placed on ways that they can do better on future assessments or ways that they can score better on future assessments. And individuals with a growth mindset are willing to try new ways of doing things to get better results. Individuals with a growth mindset are oftentimes self-motivated. So they see something, therefore they do something. They don't wait for them to be provoked or prompted to do something. And they believe in their own ability to learn and to do things despite being challenged. So how does effort reflect on the mindsets? And how does it affect our view? Are we hardly trying, or are we trying very hard? So the question that I have is, in a study, there were people that were asked about intelligence and how much they thought it was due to effort and how much they actually thought it was due to ability. So, what do you think? I want you to think about it, jot down a number. So, out of 100%, how much of intelligence is equal to effort, and how much of that 100% is associated to one's perceived or known ability? Well, Individuals with a growth mindset felt that 65% of an individual's intelligence was related to their effort, whereas 35% of was related to, or they thought was related to, one's ability. On the other side, the fixed mindset was just the opposite. So they thought that 35% of somebody's intelligence was someone's effort and 65% was someone's ability. There was very different thoughts as far as where success lies and what does it take to be successful. So here we go. I have some examples of effort and mindset. So we'll talk about each of these. So those individuals with a fixed mindset relate that those view efforts as a reflection of low intelligence, meaning that if someone has to put a lot of effort in to do something or perform a task or learn something, that means that they're not very smart. And those with a growth mindset had the complete opposite, of course. They thought that the more effort you put in was an equal part of and a necessary part of their success. Those with a fixed mindset felt that hard work meant that they just did not get it, they don't understand, and they're not smart. Whereas those with a growth mindset, they found that when increased amount of efforts were required, that meant they must try harder whenever they're faced with a setback or an obstacle. And those with a fixed mindset thought that increased amount of effort to do something meant that they lacked ability. Well, we know that's not true. Because with the growth mindset, effort equals success. The more effort I put into something, the more success that I will have. And I am a firm believer in that. So they use effort to overcome difficulty. They use effort as a catalyst to get them to the next step to make sure that they achieve their greatest potential. So strategies. So how does mindset affect our strategies? Let's talk about it. So those individuals with a fixed mindset view the strategies as a way that they use the wrong strategies whenever they are faced with an obstacle or a problem, which then results in them becoming disengaged and uninterested in the problem or the skill set that they're trying to learn. Ultimately, it leads to them giving up and not prevailing and being successful. They see that a lesson is the struggle is real, but you know what? The struggle is real good. That means that you're learning, that you're growing, you're developing, and that success is on the horizon. We just need to continue pushing forward. Individuals with a growth mindset, they try to develop new and innovative ways to do things. They seek other ways to perform a task or learn something. And if one way doesn't work, they will work to find another way to make sure that they are successful. They are oftentimes more likely to have that aha moment where they begin thinking outside of the box to solve problems because they truly believe in themselves and they believe that they can. So I want you to read and take a peek at this cartoon. This is Calvin and Hobbes. So we'll go over it. So Hobbes is saying, our poster didn't win. Calvin then replies with, I still can't believe it. In the next scene, he says, what a miscarriage of justice. This contest was a joke. Obviously, the judges were biased against us from the start. Hobbes replies, well, the important thing is that we tried our best. And then Calvin replies with, the important thing is we lost. Hobbes then replies in the next scene, oops, I always forget the purpose of a competition is to divide people into winners and losers. And then Calvin replies with, what's the point of trying if you can't be a winner? So looking at the scenario, and based off the information that we've shared so far, what kind of mindset does Calvin have in this cartoon? Fixed, or is it growth? Well, if you thought that Calvin has a fixed mindset, you are correct. He's very, very stuck on being pessimistic and not necessarily looking at new ways and strategies of trying. He's not focusing on the things and the lessons learned throughout the process of the failure or perhaps not winning or even coming in second place. He's looking at it from a measurable standpoint. He's seeing like, I have to be a winner, otherwise I'm not going to try. So the key to the growth mindset, in my opinion, can be broken down to one single word. And that word is yet, not yet. So if you were to add the word yet to a phrase such as, I can't do this, it's going to change it from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset by just changing a single word. So adding, I cannot do this yet, says that, you know what, I'm still in the learning process. I'm still in the learning curve, and I'm not there yet, but I'm going to be. I'm not successful yet, but I'm going to be. It means that you're still open to change, you're still open to growth, and you're still open to development. So we'll go through this. So which is which? I'll post a phrase, and you tell me, or we'll categorize it into whether it's a growth mindset or whether it's a fixed mindset. It's important that I learn new things. Well, absolutely, that's into the growth mindset. What did I learn from this error? If you were to ask yourself that, then that certainly is a growth mindset mentality. This is who I am, love it or leave it. That is a hardcore fixed mindset belief. Because that is who they are, they're not going to change, they're not going to grow. If it doesn't work out, I am done. They're a quitter. They're going to give up before it even starts, before success is even remotely close to them, because they've already walked into a situation or a scenario knowing that they're going to give up if they don't get it or if it doesn't work out. I'm not good at this. That's a very common phrase for someone with a fixed mindset, mainly because they think and they believe that they are not giving themselves the opportunity to be successful. The phrase, I haven't learned this yet, is a great phrase that you will hear individuals with a growth mindset use all the time because they seek opportunity to continue to grow and develop. The word opportunity alone stands very profoundly with the growth mindset. And the word problem stands very, very out in the fixed mindset world. So now that you have a firm understanding of the growth mindset, let's talk about goal settings. So it's important that we set goals and we make sure that these goals are in fact realistic and that they are obtainable. Otherwise, we may not get to them. It's important that we talk about our goals and that we share our goals with others, especially those that you look up to, perhaps your mentors, family, close friends, teachers. And it's important that we are mindful that errors and mistakes are going to happen because that's just part of life. But what's most important is that you don't allow those errors or setbacks to deter you from continuing to push forward. And then setting your goals in incremental styles. So this means that you should set goals for days, weeks, months, quarters, or even a year. So try to scaffold your success and the things that you're trying to obtain in small increments. It's important that we don't necessarily limit our goals. So this can be about anything as far as what we set our goals for. It could be about study habits, decreasing the amount of time that you spend watching TikTok, or how much time that you want to spend performing self-care. So you should always present and define your goals with statements such as, I am. So it could be something along the lines of, I can watch 3 hours or less of Grey's Anatomy this week. Or I'm going to spend 5 more minutes every day meditating. And when we define our goals, we should try to make sure that they're smart. So SMART goals means that they are specific, they are measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, or tied to a time frame. And as we set goals, it's important that we participate and we engage in self-reflection activities and check-ins. So what I find helpful is keeping a log of the things that you're doing and the progress that you're making all around that. I refer to my self-reflection tool as my effort log. So this allows me to reflect upon the successes and the things that I'm doing and how much traction, how much success I've already made as I continue to go. And it's important that we put a lot of emphasis that our goals are on the amount of development of a skill, and we're trying to expand the amount of knowledge that we have. So here's an activity that you can do at any point in time as you're setting goals. So make a list of all of the goals you want to accomplish for the next 3 months. It could be reading 2 new books. I want to go on a hike every weekend. It could be anything. So make a list of all the goals that you want to accomplish within the next 3 months. Then I want you to circle the 3 goals that are most important to you. For me, if I were to list my top 3 goals, is I would want to set a healthy goal of hiking once every week, 4 times a month. So I want to make at least 12 hikes in the next 3 months. I want to read a new book at least once per month. And I want to spend 10 extra minutes doing something that I enjoy every single day. And then the next step would be for you to then promise yourself that you're not going to do a single thing about the ones that you did not circle. So what this is setting up your goals and really honing in and focusing on what's extremely important to you. Studies have shown that more than 3 goals are nothing more than a distraction. So 3 goals is plenty for you to do in a 3-month period because focus makes things happen. All right, so now we're going to shift to our next topic. And our next topic just ties directly into goal setting, the mindset, and everything. It's the 5 F's of life. And I absolutely love this because it's super simple and it's just clear. So let's jump in. The first F is faith. So what is faith? Faith is the firm belief in something for which there's no proof or definition. Faith in ourselves is never enough. We have to have faith in something greater. Faith includes our purpose in life is greater than just living, is greater than just working. There's something greater out there. Why? Without faith, there lies so much ambiguity in life. So having faith just helps us clarify our purpose. When do we need to have faith? We need to have faith at all times. Not only when you need it, but it's always there. So remaining cognizant of your faith. Where is faith? Faith is everywhere. It can be found in your home. It can be found in school. It can be found in a place of worship, wherever. And how do you find faith? You can do that through prayer, meditation, contemplation, or simply surrounding yourself with the right people. The next F is fitness. What is fitness? It's as simple as making sure your body is working at its peak. Why do we want to focus on fitness? If you can't take care of yourself, we have to ask ourselves, how will you take care of others? When should we focus on fitness? Start today. Make fitness a part of your daily life. This isn't necessarily to lose weight, gain weight, look better. It's about feeling better and making sure we're fueling our bodies for all of the amazing things and all of the great successes you're going to have. Where do we incorporate fitness? We can incorporate this at home, school, around your neighborhood, or at the gym. You don't need a gym membership to participate in fitness activities. You can do this by doing activities around your neighborhood, so going on a brisk walk every day. And how can we focus on fitness? It can be as simple, again, as walking 30 minutes per day with your dog, with your family, and just having great, robust, and enriching conversations with someone you care about. Family is our next F. So what is it? Being an active member of your family is so important. It's about staying engaged. And family is at the heart of all of our support. Family looks different for everyone. It could be your chosen family. It could be your birth family. It doesn't matter. Family is how you define that. So when? When do we need to be concerned about this? It's whenever you don't think that there will be a second chance. In other words, you should always, always, always keep family center. Because again, you only have one opportunity, and that opportunity is now. So where is this family? Where do we do this? Well, it's in your heart. It's in your mind. It's everywhere you go, and it should practice and be mindfulness at all times. And how should we incorporate this? Well, it just simply means be the absolute best that you can be when you're with them or even when you're afar. Especially in the challenging times with COVID, when we don't necessarily get to see our families because we have to remain socially distant, and hopefully that's coming to a change. But it's important that we are being a good reflection of who we are at all times. And friends is the next F. So what are friends? Well, friends, again, you define that. But friends are important because they strengthen your connections with your community, with your surroundings, and your environment. So why is it important? Having someone to listen to you when that person's not necessarily your family, but they feel like they are, is so important. It allows a different type of connection and a different type of relationship. So when are friends important? Well, it's for the times of joy and the moments of sorrow that you may encounter in our life. So where can we engage and participate? Everywhere, of course. So find times and places in parks, beaches, school, work, any extracurricular activity. Make those connections and make them meaningful. And how should you incorporate your friends? Do it in everything that you do. Find moments and create moments of joy that you will never forget. And finances. So this starts with saving and investing your money for your essential success. And why? Well, if you're too occupied making a living, you will never be able to live and fulfill your dreams. So when are we talking about finances? Well, I think of finances, time is money, and you need to channel it at the right time. So making sure that you are focusing on money at the right time, which is all the time. And where should we apply the F of finances? Well, we're going to apply it everywhere because it's always applicable. Because if you tie money back to time, well, no matter what you're doing, you're tying your finances back to it. And if you're not sure, seek people with the right skills to help you get to where you are. I'm going to end this presentation and end this talk today with some gentle reminders and some quotes that I find that I apply to my life every day. And I live through these, and I hope that you too will find ways to incorporate these quotes into your life. So, summary, role models, just remember that they serve as great sources that evidence of the growth mindset is in action, and that the growth mindset does work. That the growth mindset helps people remain motivated and helps them be successful. And just because you may not have the growth mindset today does not mean that you won't have the growth mindset tomorrow, because the growth mindset can be learned. So, something that I preach and I just emphasize so much to all of my students is practice makes progress. I find this to be a lot different than what you may have heard as practice makes perfect. Well, if we strive for perfection, we're never going to get there because no one is perfect. I like to think of practice making progress as truly on that growth mindset curve where we are always aiming for getting a little bit better every single day. We need to remember that mistakes are a part of life. They're going to happen. We just cannot allow those mistakes to set us back. And if you think about our environment, the world, the weather, the sun always returns after a storm. It may take a day, it may take 2 weeks, but I tell you, If you have faith in the sun, it will return after every single storm. In other words, it will get better. It always does. And every challenge is an even greater opportunity for you to reach your greatest potential. So seek every challenge as an opportunity to grow, develop, and to be the best person that you can be. And Dr. Edith Eger had an amazing quote of openness to change. And the quote goes, "Change is about interrupting the habits and patterns that no longer serves us." That resonates with me by saying that that change is an essential part of life, and we have to embrace this. And once we identify that something no longer serves us or works in our benefit or enriches our life in a positive way, we no longer need it. So being okay that change is going to happen, and sometimes we have to be the person or the individual that makes that change. And here's a simple recipe to having just an amazing and a great life, is do one thing today that will make tomorrow easier. So how can I today make tomorrow's burden or potential burden a little easier? Is that setting your clothes out the night before? Perhaps. That might very well do the job. Is it doing meal prep? That always helps me. So just keeping in mind that it's important, or we try to do one thing today that will make tomorrow easier. And that one thing may not necessarily be about us. It could be for someone else. And it's so important that we believe that something good is about to happen. I'm a firm believer in this, that, behind every dark cloud, there's gonna be something brighter and better. And I always believe that something great, something amazing is gonna blow my mind, and is gonna be great, and is about to happen. And to summarize our 5 F's. So we know that faith comes through believing, and that will enable us to act. So having faith in something and someone. Fitness comes from getting up and moving outside of our comfort zone and into actual physical action. So getting up and doing it. Family will be there regardless of the situation, good, bad, or otherwise. And friends are an important piece to our life because they complement our life. They support our growth, they support our development, and they help form better, stronger connections. And finances are not necessarily always about making money, but managing what you do have to live and to share in the moments that you have in your life with others. And a brief biblio and references of the materials that I used to create this presentation and this talk. So I again hope that you all enjoyed this conversation and that you all had at least the ability to take away something. And if in doubt, give me a call, send me an email. I am happy to connect with you, and I wish you the most success and have a wonderful day. Take care.